Hi everybody, I'm here with Connor Baxter and we're at the APP World Tour London SUP Open, day 2. Connor, thank you for talking to us.
Yeah.
This was the home of the sprints yesterday.
Yeah, right behind us.
I don't know how many rounds you did, how many heats.
Yeah, we had 4 heats in the sprint, so not too crazy, but yeah, I mean, when it's that many people here, it's like maybe we're not having these huge numbers, but they're all the best paddlers. So right from the get-go, that first round was super intense, and then it got a little bit harder, and then the stakes also got risen in the sense that the first round there's 3 of us advancing, next round only 2 of us advancing into the semis, and then out of the semis 2 into the finals. So at each heat, the intensity got brought up a level, up a level, up a level, and then of course the finals is where you have to give it everything you got. And these kind of shorter course technical races, it's really a game of getting to that buoy first, and then you can kind of set the pace. If people try to make their moves or try to like push the pace a bit, you can ramp the speed up a little bit, so they have to go the same faster and get over your wake. So, you know, that was the game plan from the first heat into the finals, and was able to kind of secure that first turn, then play it real safe, kind of brought it down a level to conserve energy in case if they came to make a move.
Yeah.
No one really tried to push, so I just kept a nice solid pace going into the second, third turn. And by the time I made that right turn on the third buoy, I was like, okay, it's in the bag. Let's just bring it home. Don't fall on this last final turn, and should be on the home stretch.
Yeah. I have to say, your first heat looked like the final. When we read the names out, it's like, hang on, have they got this back to final? It's like the final. And as you say, every heat that it ramped up, and it was aggressive, and I don't mean that in a negative sense.
No, but that's
you
racing.
You have to be aggressive.
That's racing.
And there was some interesting falls, you know, there was lots of the board
rubbing his racing, banging into each other. Yeah, you know, it's not the sport that we're super, which I love, where we're not in an Olympic standpoint at the point now, but it's fun. It makes it exciting. It makes it fun, and I think for the most part, unless you're just coming into the sport, we all have an etiquette of like, okay, we can bang into each other. We can, you know, let's go rough around this turn, and it works in a nice way. And then it brings some excitement and some live action, you know? So sometimes if you're just coming into this elite level, you got to kind of put on your big boy pants and pull them up.
Yeah, absolutely. That, you know, we've had some incidents in the GB SUP National Series where people have gone, oh, you know, it's a little bit aggressive. We think, no, get out with the big boys and you'll see how aggressive it is, or how, you know, close the racing is.
Right.
So today we've had the distance race, and I believe you've raced on the Thames before.
Correct.
Here, and it was super quick today. Obviously it was shortened because of the passing of the Queen, so it was done in a little bit shifted as well because of Canary Wharf. But yeah, I mean, we almost missed the finish because it was so fast, but it seemed a race of 2 halves. Was it quite flat? And then, can you talk us through the course?
Yeah, no, it was definitely, it's funny because distance races, it's normally not like that in the sense that you really got to go out hard in the start. But we had to fight the current a little bit in the beginning, so we went up about 1 kilometer up the river, and that was really setting the pace right there because I believe myself, Arthur, and Claymont and Daniel, we broke the pack right there. And as soon as we kind of turned that pillar of the bridge to come back down, once we got locked into that current, it's so hard to make moves and pass or catch someone up because we're really all going the same speed at this point. The current is pushing us, and if you paddle a little bit harder, yes, you go a little bit, but it's really not enough to really break someone or in that sense catch someone up. So right from the beginning, we locked into 4 paddlers and just set into a pretty nice pace. But Daniel on a flat water specialist board, he really was pushing a high pace, which I was at one point like, okay, when's the bump? Where's the boats? Where's these happening? Because for me, I'm not really training and focusing on that. If I do a longer paddle in an hour and a half style, it's downwind. You know, we live in Maui and we have the Maliko in the backyard, so have to do the Maliko and enjoy that, and I'm having fun with that. So as soon as, you know, we got, 20, 30 minutes into the race, then all of a sudden we got into the thick of it. You could see on the shoreline the queue of people, and they were stoked. They were hooting and hollering for us, and it was pretty cool, but it got messy. And that's as soon as that happened, Claymont, myself, and Arthur had more ocean-y boards. They're more made for rougher water, flat water. They're the all-around kind of board. and we were able to kind of push that same pace, but we're on top of the water instead of going through the water like some of these flat water boards like to do. So right there we were able to break Daniel a little bit, get a little bit ahead of him, which was really good for me because Claymon getting 4th yesterday in the sprints and was likely to win because he was in front of us pulling the draft train, and he felt you could see his confidence on that distance battle. So it's like, okay, if he gets first, doing the math in my head, I gotta do 3rd. So then when we're in a train of 4 people, I'm like, okay, one of these guys I have to beat in order to get the overall. And Daniel dropped back a bit, so then I was like, okay, able to just kind of race a nice race. And coming into the finish line, I was actually feeling really strong, really good. Had a little wobble, which dropped me back to 3rd place behind Arthur. And then I went for another big push, and unfortunately took a little dip in the Thames. But yeah, I had a little fall, but luckily had enough of a gap on 4th place, was easily coming across the line 3rd. My goal coming into this was top 5, so we did better than my goal, and yeah, I was stoked.
So you have got the overall, so
yes,
many congratulations on that. It's London SUP Open champion.
As they're finishing, one of the open paddlers, yep.
The open paddlers are finishing. When do you go home? You've got a young family at home.
Yes.
It must be very difficult for you to be away from them.
Yeah,
I mean, this is your job, but
correct.
It's difficult. So when do you go home?
I'm heading home tomorrow after 2 weeks on the road. I was in Poland last weekend, and yeah, no, super exciting. There's a lot that goes into it. The training, the sacrifice, the travel, and then yes, of course, having a 2-year-old running around that I absolutely adore. Another one in the oven coming in October 8th.
Hey, we didn't know that.
Yes, so I'm literally running home. Wifey's like, okay, it's time. Like, we're in strike zone. I'm like, okay, I'm coming. So unfortunately, going to be missing Korea, so that's going to put a little bit more effort and hard work going into the last few stops of the World Tour. But yeah, I'll be in Puerto Rico most likely, and back over to Europe for the remaining stops of the ATP Tour.
Cool. Well, it's been a pleasure to watch you race. It's always a pleasure. We've never really spoken. We've never really caught up. So we've grabbed you here in London.
Yeah.
We're really stoked about that. Thank you so much, Connor. And congratulations on your growing family.
Thank you.
Safe travels home, and we look forward to watching you in the future.
Awesome.
It's just been amazing.
And big shout out to you guys. Covering this, it takes time and effort behind the scenes. It might look easy, but this is what makes our sport, like connecting us. Even though we're international, this is how we get connected, and we have something special. Our sport is so beautiful. It's not this sport where, we race hard, we hate each other. No, we're hugging each other out, and we're talking about the top athletes, so we're keeping this family-like community, and because of you guys and what we're doing here, we're growing something amazing.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. It's not easy sometimes.
No, it isn't.
We do it for the love. We don't get paid, and
yes.
But we do it for love, and it's
well, thank you guys, both of you.
Very generous of you to say that. Thank you so much, Connor Baxter.